Welcome to Bullet Points Single Shot. Who are you?
That's America, and I am Judd Dunning.
I'm Michael Loftus. We got a brand new single shot.
We do.
Now, what's the difference? What's the difference between this show and Bullet Points? That's what I can never understand.
I can tell by when we go over our time. So, Bullet Points, created by the great Michael Loftus, is 4 to 5. It's now for time topics, 2 minutes long, the hottest news stories in America and the world, and then one cultural wild card at the end of our weekly show on Wednesday or Thursday.
Pretty crazy. So what do we do on single shots?
But on single shot, we unplug a little bit, unwind, relax, and we do one topic where we just go into depth, be a little bit more of ourselves without a timer.
What? Right. We got a little bit more time, a little bit more of a deep dive. So thanks for checking us out. What are we going to talk about today? What is the topic?
Today, thank you. Our single shot topic this week is we love LA, but California sucks.
And I don't even know if I love LA.
Exactly.
Bango.
Well, that's where all our friends are, right?
Look at that sweet,
and the
sweet
Dodgers.
graphic.
Woo!
California has problems.
It has major
Big
problems. And we're sliding downhill, and that's what this episode is about.
And sliding downhill fast. There's a bunch of big stories that are out there right now, like the rolling blackouts. That are going on in Northern California.
Well, PG&E is covering their ass because they had $3 billion locked up for when they blew up a bunch of people. Then they had the fire penalties. I mean, our infrastructure and our utilities have so many lawsuits going on. So they're basically just throwing it all back under our citizenry.
Did PG&E file for bankruptcy?
Yes.
Are they under bankruptcy protection?
Prior, yes.
Yeah. And because the fires, that was all their fault.
Right. And before that, they blew up a bunch of people in Bernardino County. They blew up like 40 homes, and they put $3 billion in a locked account, non-interest bearing. And now there's 750,000 parcels that have to be checked for gas lines interceding with sewer traps. They're in trouble.
Yes, they're in big trouble. However, with the fires, I'm going to say California also, the state of California bears some of that responsibility.
Right.
Because Governor Jerry Brown at the time was warned repeatedly that you got to go in there and clean out some of this underbrush. It's just a perfect scenario, and that was true. So it's very, very weird. I think that, like, in a strange way, people view PG&E like they view the federal government. Like, oh, it's such a big company, they can never go under.
Right.
Nothing could ever go happen. And like lawsuit, fine, lawsuit. Now I think PG&E is like, you know what? We don't want to get sued, so we're just going to shut off the power. Whenever there's a high wind in Northern California, we'll just shut off the power.
Right. Schools, businesses, food's
Restaurants,
going bad, restaurants.
Like, what do you do if you're a restaurant owner?
Yes.
Get a generator, I guess.
Yeah.
So, and then
$2.4 billion is supposed to be lost, which affects 2.4 million people. What's interesting is it's like a redistribution deal in the government, but from a government-like entity, just passing it back to the people. Go here, you pay for it.
Right. So if you you don't live in the Golden State, and here's some of the stuff you need to know. Some of the highest real estate prices in America.
Right.
Some of the highest state taxes. What are we getting taxed at?
11% on top of federal, which is roughly X tax, depending where you are.
It's brutal. Gasoline as of today
North of 4 something.
Well, yeah.
Pushing 5.
And they keep wasting our money. Here's the most recent one. Okay, here's a couple of the boondoggles that you need to know about to inform. Okay, so
great beaches. So if you still want the states, that's right. The Needles are awesome.
Right.
There's some good. There's some positives.
You have to pick.
And
don't go into the water here. You'll get a weird rash. You definitely want to go up here. It's like that kind of thing.
That's true.
So a million years ago, there was going to be a subway system. It was going to help a lot with congestion. Blah 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 blah. They built a little tiny bit of
the
it.
high-speed rail.
And a bunch of, is that 3 minutes? Wow. A bunch of money went missing. Over like $500 million. Just gone.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, what can you do? And I remember going, well, where's the outrage? Zero outrage. Everybody's like, well, it's California.
He got a pass too.
It happens.
It's crazy that Brown got a pass on that.
Then you have the railway from San Francisco down to L.A.
Right.
They bought up all these parcels of land. There's a lot of like rumors of insider, oh, I'll go buy this hunk of land from this farmer. Then you'll come in, then I'll sell it to you for a big, lots of kickbacks, lots of corruption there. A lot of money was spent. A lot of money was wasted. They ain't no railroad. We got nothing to show for it. So now brings us to today. 3 years ago, the people of California, they voted in another little tax, and this money was going to be allocated to help the homeless, do something about the homeless crisis, which is just getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. So it's $1.3 billion.
Right.
But they were going to build these little housing units for homeless people. And they said, you know what? It's going to be about $300,000 per unit. Okay, well, we can build a lot of those for $1.3 billion. Right. Now they're saying it's closer to $570,000 per unit.
Which is brand new.
It's 3 years later. Yeah. They haven't built one, and where is the money going?
Yeah.
It is so corrupt, and my philosophy is this. It has to get worse before it gets better. It has to get worse. People keep voting for Democrats. It's almost impossible for a Republican to win. Mm-hmm. We're outnumbered like crazy. So I say they bought their tickets. They knew what they were getting into. I say let them crash from airplanes.
That's pretty much it. You know, when we were talking about this before the show, there's 40 million people in our state. There's like 5 million Republicans. There are 8 million registered Democrats, 43%, 23%. So it's 43 to 23%. But we also have tons of illegal aliens, which is interesting though, Michael, because I think if you got a certain amount of people onto the books, there'd be a little bit more to the right, because there's a lot of people that have values that are, I think, just feel like they can't get something done here. You know, I mean, there's so much momentum. And the thing is once you go to the ballots in November in California, everything is an emotional position, on a diversity position, on somebody who's deprived in a specialized class or the climate, and everyone votes for what they feel, and we spend tons of money, tons of taxes. Everything is always a platform of emotion with good meaning, but no fiscal clarity or sense.
The people of the state have been failed time and time and time again.
We just talked about how bad California sucks for this whole show. I mean,
well, because listen, it's a beautiful state.
Governmentally, it sucks.
My dad grew up here. Oh, the landscape, gorgeous. Everything, wonderful. You can see why it's popular. You can see why it's easy, to get people, hey, move to California back in the 40s and 50s. Yeah. But now it's just getting worse and worse and
what's
worse.
so beautiful about our state, though, is the homeless. There's a 43% growth in the homeless, which is more of a community feel when you go out into our shit and needle-infested waters in town. But I mean, it's so difficult because you have compassion. Bring a lot of singles if you're coming to California. It depends. Or beer, food, and water.
Well, going to what you're saying. It's like we passed this law. We're like, everyone in California is like, well, we will definitely pitch in some more money if you're going to be helping with the homeless crisis. And here's some money. Build them little places to live. And the government's glad to take it, and then they don't follow through. So listen, it's not a compassion issue, you guys. It's a corruption issue.
Right.
It's a failed leadership, and how like Gavin Newsom can brag about anything and want to be a sanctuary state. It's like standing in the toilet bragging that your hat is still dry. Dude, your feet you're covered with shit.
I was waiting for our American Road Scholar moment. Like every show, you say something like, God, did you write that down? So this is like this little American Road Scholar in you, Michael. So the question is, let's end with the solution. I heard somebody say it's okay to complain, even in your personal life, right? But you end that you know the solution. So what is the solution? I think the solution, as we said, is going to have to be generated from some kind of cultural crisis in our state. I think the homeless is the beginning of it. How do we get to the solution? How do we get people in that, like Trump did on a national level? He's pulling regulation back for a period of time, bringing us back to balance. How do we do it in California?
This is not funny at all, but I think it's going to be a tragic story. Yeah. I think, and I hope it doesn't come to this. But traditionally, if you look at America, we like to stand off until something really bad happens, and then we get motivated. Remember the Alamo. Remember the Lusitania. Remember Pearl Harbor. Remember some. It's always like we're counterpunchers, and it's like someone's gonna get the plague because the plague is in
9/11,
California.
the crash, all our big challenges.
So it'll be like some poor innocent soul is gonna get really hurt, and it's gonna get really bad, and then that'll be the match. That turns people will go, okay, this is obviously gone
and
too
it could
far.
involve the Kardashians. I mean, you never know.
No, I think they're in New York with Kanye.
That's true, they're safe.
Kanye's preaching on Sunday that you can't tell him
He
what
just
to
sat
think.
in the California Suck Slide. The whole give our people a little more.
I'm not gonna
give
I'm
them the
not-
next one.
I'm not gonna give any love to Snoop. Snoop has betrayed me.
He's betrayed us.
Here's a wonderful graph.
Our drought that's no longer with us.
That's
because
my
of
backyard.
rain.
Look at that beautiful scenery. Wildfires.
Our
there
homeless,
it is.
our lovely homeless. Skid Row, baby.
It ain't no good. It ain't no good.
It's not only on Skid Row at this point. I mean, it's on the west side.
Every block is Skid Row. Every single inch of California looks like that. Oh, I'm lying. That's our show. Enjoy some nipples. We love them. We care deeply for you. Thank you so much.
See you next week.